You worked for years to get here. You have the life everyone said they wanted. So why do you feel absolutely nothing? You crossed every finish line. You won every race. And standing here now, you feel less than you did at the start. This is one of the most painful and least talked about experiences a human being can have. And it has a name. Today we're going to talk about it. Honestly. Completely. Because you deserve to understand what is happening inside you. The promotion came, the applause came, the recognition came, and each time, a brief flicker, then nothing. Faster each time. You started to wonder, is something wrong with me? Am I broken? Why can I not just be happy? Nothing is wrong with you. Something happened to you. And science understands it completely. Let me describe your world accurately, because I want you to feel seen before I explain anything. Beautiful things happen around you, and you watch them as if through glass. Present but separate. There but not there. You are good at performing, at showing up, at saying the right things. But inside, silence where feeling used to be. You've become very skilled at faking presence. The world thinks you are thriving. You know what is actually happening. You keep moving, keep achieving, because stopping feels worse than the emptiness. At least moving gives structure to the nothing. You optimize everything: sleep, nutrition, output, performance, everything, except the one thing you actually need. Everywhere and nowhere at once. Another city, another room, the same feeling you carried from the last one. The relationships are there. But you've moved so fast for so long that something in the connection went quiet. You remember wanting, the hunger, the fire, the feeling that the future was something you could taste. What happened to that person? Where did the feeling go? You got everything they wanted. Why aren't you them? Here is the psychology behind what you are experiencing, and I need you to stay with me, because this will change how you understand yourself. What you are experiencing has a name in psychology. It is called hedonic adaptation, and it affects every single human brain. Your brain is designed to return to baseline after any experience, positive or negative, no matter how extraordinary the achievement. The first promotion felt like flying. The third felt like Tuesday. This is not ingratitude. This is neuroscience. But hedonic adaptation is only half the story. There's something deeper happening for people like you. High achievers often build their entire identity on the act of achieving. The self becomes the goal, not the person behind it. When your identity lives entirely in what you produce, you stop experiencing life. You start processing it. Who are you when you are not producing? When nothing is being built, or won, or completed? Do you even know? There is another layer. Psychologists call it emotional numbing, the brain's protection mechanism against feeling the cost of relentless striving. For years, you trained yourself not to feel during the climb. Emotion was inefficiency. Feeling was a luxury for later. But later never came. The numbness that served you on the way up became the only setting you know. You forgot how to turn the volume back on. And here's what I want to say to you right now. With everything I have, you did not fail. Your coping strategy succeeded completely. You are not broken. You are exhausted from winning the wrong race. The achievement was real. The cost was real. And now it is time to finally collect what you have been owed since the beginning. The question now is not, how do I achieve more? The question is, what would I do if no one was watching and nothing was being measured? That answer, whatever it is where you actually live, where you have not been in a very long time. Here's what the research shows. Feeling returns. Not all at once. In small moments first. A crack in the glass. One genuine moment. That is how the feeling finds its way back in. The first step back is not a decision. It is a practice. And it begins with one thing. Deliberately slowing down below the speed of numbness. Your brain numbs what moves too fast. So you must slow down long enough to actually be somewhere. The second practice. Do something that cannot be optimized. Something your brain cannot turn into a metric. Cook a meal from scratch. Plant something. Draw badly. Build something with your hands. Do it wrong. Stay with it. That feeling, the small, quiet satisfaction of making something imperfect with no audience, that is a feeling. Write it down. The third practice. Walk without a destination, without a podcast, without optimization. Just be a body moving through a world. Notice what catches your attention, what you turn your head to look at. That is your actual self, pointing at what it cares about. The fourth practice. Every evening, write down one moment from the day when something actually landed, however small, however brief. The child on the bicycle, the clay between your fingers, the valley you stop to look at. These are not small. These are everything. There's also one more layer that nobody in your world is telling you, and it may be the most important. High achievement at the cost of emotional disconnection is not success. It is a sophisticated form of avoidance. Somewhere along the way, achieving became a way to not have to sit with yourself. The movement itself was the escape. What were you running from when the running began? What did achieving protect you from having to feel? You don't have to answer that today, but you have to let the question live inside you. That is where the feeling starts to return. Something begins to shift, slowly, not dramatically, not in a moment, in the accumulation of small, honest choices. You will notice it first in tiny moments. A color, a memory that surfaces unexpectedly, a laugh that is real rather than performed. After weeks of these practices, something in the system begins to come back online. Scientists call this emotional resensitization. Your nervous system was not broken. It was in protective shutdown, and it knows how to come back when you give it the conditions. Beauty starts to land again. Not everything, not all at once, but something moves through the glass. That moment, right there, that is not small. That is the system coming back. Notice it. Stay with it. Let it be enough. Connection returns. Not the managed professional version, the real kind, where you are actually there with another person. You remember what it felt like to be in a room and actually be in it. Not monitoring it, not performing in it, just in it. The same dinner, the same people, a completely different experience. Because you showed up. This is what was always available. Under the numbness, under the performance. You were always capable of this. The achievements don't disappear. They just take their correct size, smaller than they were, truer than they were. You begin to achieve differently, from a different place, because something inside you is directing it now. Not fear, not numbness, but actual desire. The sunrise you watched without feeling for years. One morning it gets through, and you stand there and you let it, and you realize you did not lose the ability to feel. You just buried it under everything you thought you were supposed to be. You start measuring differently, not by output, by aliveness. How present were you today? How much of it did you actually feel? The same elevator, the same city. You, finally, here. The life you built is real. The cost was real. And you were allowed to feel both of those things at the same time. You were not too late. The feeling is not gone. It is waiting, right beneath the surface you built. Start today, not with a plan, with a moment. One moment where you choose to actually be somewhere instead of passing through it. Subscribe. Share this with someone who has everything and is quietly wondering why it isn't enough. I will see you in the next one.